So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing Indian Express newspaper. We will try to cover 3-4 important articles. As you know that there are certain important announcements which has been made by the government, we will be discussing that. And other than that, we will be discussing the explanation of the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture, and then we will move to the fact of the day. Okay. After that, we were on the section that is Know Our Constitution. So we will be discussing the part 9 today, which is related to your panchayats. Okay. So we'll try to cover up the important things around the panchayat, okay, and then we'll moving forward with the articles of the day, that is One Nation One Election. We have discussed One Nation One Election 3 days back, but again since the announcement has been made by the central government that they will be going for the implementation of it, and they have accepted the recommendation of the high level committee which has been presided under the former President Ramnath Kovind ji. So basically we will be discussing about that. Then we will be talking about the reviewing Indus Water Treaty. Now this Indus Water Treaty you must be aware of, or otherwise also you should know if you are preparing for any kind of examination, because when we are talking about this particular treaty, that is related to India and Pakistan, and that is kind of a water distribution system between India and Pakistan with respect to the Indus river. Okay, so we will be talking about that. And then Earth's mini moon. Okay, now this is a space related concept, that is mini moon. We will try to understand what is mini moon and why it has been talked about right now. Other than that, we will also talk about the space programs. Right now, recently center has made certain important announcements with respect to the space program initiative. Okay, and we will be talking about the ISRO's vision 2047. Okay, by 47 we are planning to make a Indian you can say space station over there. So we will be discussing all these things today. So this session will be quite fruitful for you. Here you can see, this is your front page. Here you can see the One Nation One Election set in motion will be implemented in 2 phases. Okay, other than that, here you can say Jammu and Kashmir thumbs up for the first assembly polls post 2019. First phase turnover is 61%. So that is a good, because last time when we are talking about the elections over there, that was the turnover was around you can say 66%. Okay, and that was 2014 we are talking about. Okay, now it is 61%, despite you can say change in the geographical area of Jammu and Kashmir. You know that Jammu and Kashmir has been made a union territory. Earlier it was a state. Okay, so 61% turnout is a positive sign. Okay, then here you can see there was this another news, review modify Indus Water Treaty. We will be discussing that as well. Okay, so now we will move forward with the practice question which was given to you. Which organization is primarily associated with the resistance against Israel in Lebanon? So recently this organization has been in news, because of various things. Recently, you know that there was this pager attacks which has happened in Syria and Lebanon, and here you must have heard about the name of Hezbollah. Okay, so when we are talking about Lebanon, there is one group that is against Israel right now, that is Hezbollah. Okay, and that is supported by Iran. Okay, no doubt there are, you can say you don't have the concrete evidence with respect to that, but the thing is they supply them arms and ammunition, technology, etc. So that is why we can say that it is supported by you can say Iran. There is another group which is supported by Iran. This is Houthi group. Houthi rebels which are there in Yemen. Okay, and in Yemen they are supported by Iran. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now we can move further to the next one, that is Know Our Constitution. Sorry, before that we will be discussing the fact of the day, that is important one. Okay, so Operation Polo, Hyderabad police action. You know that there were yesterday it was 17th September. One day before, we can say there was 17th September. On that particular day, you know that the Nizam of Hyderabad has surrendered to India. Okay, so basically when we are talking about Hyderabad was a place, or you can say this was a princely state which actually was creating some kind of chaos at the time of the unification. When we talk about the, you can say integration of India, at that point of time it was speculations that Hyderabad might go with Pakistan. Okay, Sardar Patel tried very well to actually convince him, but that was not happening at that point of time, and the people over there wanted to stay in India. So considering that, there was this you can say Operation Polo which was started, that was Hyderabad police action. On 13th of September 1948, Indian Army launched an Operation Polo, a military operation of Hyderabad, citing internal law and order you can say issues which was there. Okay, internal law and order concerns. Here you can see Hyderabad police action. Earlier it was actually the military action, but it was called as a police action because we have said that it is the internal law and order situation. Okay, now it was referred as the police action because it was internal matter of India. On 17th of September 1948, the Nizam formally surrendered after dismissing the Prime Minister Mir Laik Ali and his cabinet. Okay, so basically on 17th of September, he has actually dismissed the Prime Minister over here. When we talk about Nizam, there was this Prime Minister, or you can say Mir Bakshi, etc. They used to be there in the, you can say, the former system which was there. Okay, so he has dismissed Mir Laik Ali and his cabinet, and then you can say Hyderabad was integrated into India. Okay, so that is about the Operation Polo. Moving further to the constitution part. Okay, now you can see here we have discussed all these part: union and territories, citizenship, fundamental right, DPSP, fundamental duties, union government, state government. We have discussed union territories. Now we will be discussing part 9, that is panchayat. Okay, now here you will be seeing that we have this article 243A to O. These articles are dedicated to panchayat, and now we will not go into the details of the articles. We will be talking about the provisions. Now why? Because they will not ask you the you can say precise article, that under which article this was given, because obviously these articles are, you can say, very wide articles from A to O. That is why we will be discussing about the provisions. Then we will be seeing that how panchayats were introduced. You know that panchayats were there before this amendment, 73rd Constitution Amendment, which has happened in 1992. Okay, so before that also we had panchayats. Okay, but they did not had the constitutional status. Now after this particular amendment, panchayat got the constitutional structure, and now after that we had a 3-tier government. Okay, 3-tier government means that one is at your center, after that second is at state, third is your local governments. Okay, local urban bodies, local panchayats, etc. These are the third tier of the government. Okay, so that was there after the 73rd Constitution Amendment. Now what happened in that particular amendment? So there was new part 9, which was added to the constitution. The name was the panchayats. Okay, introduced 11th schedule with 29 functioning articles, or you can say items under which panchayat can actually function. So there are 29, you can say, matters wherein panchayat can go for the administration. Okay, so in the 11th schedule that was mentioned, then we have operationalized article 40. Article 40 earlier was there, you can say, when we are talking about the DPSPs, so article 40 is talking about the panchayats. Okay, so article 40 of the DPSP, self governance at the village level. Okay, so that was materialized with the 73rd Constitution Amendment. Then mandate states to establish panchayati raj system, making it justiciable. Justiciable means that now if there is not, then this is kind of a right. Okay, so you can go and see. Now moving further, here you will be seeing that ensure independent election process of the Panchayati Raj institution. Now for that there was this provision of the State Election Commission. When we talk about the, you can say, elections, you know that election commission is there. When we talk about the National Election Commissioner and the other election commissioners which are there to support them, so basically they are responsible for particular kind of you can say elections, that is of member of parliaments. Then when we talk about the member of legislative assemblies, then you can say president and vice president. These are the election for which National Election Commission will be responsible. For the local bodies, the state election commissioner will be there. Okay, so concept of state commissions, election commissions was introduced with the you can say 73rd Constitution Amendment. Contain compulsory and voluntary provisions for the state regarding the Panchayati law. When we talk about the Panchayati Raj law, so there has been a framework which has been decided by the center. Okay, now this framework has been decided by center. There are certain points which are made, actually let's say some of them are compulsory, which you have to follow. Some of them are voluntary, which it is on the state government if they want to do it or not. Okay, so this way they have designed the Panchayati Raj system. Moving further, here you will be seeing, if we talk about the salient features, so we have Gram Sabha, village assembly of all registered voter exercise power defined by the state legislature. Again, here power will be defined by the state legislature. So most of the time you will be seeing that the framework has been given by the center, but the details has been planned by the state legislature. Okay, so there is the concept of Gram Sabha. Okay, then three-tier system, which we have already seen. Moving further, you will be seeing elections, direct elections for the member at all level, indirect election for the chairpersons. Okay, for the members of the, or you can say, let's say when we are talking about the Gram Sabha. So in the Gram Sabha, for the members, there is, you can say, all the village, you can say assembly people will be the members, and then the chairperson will be decided by the indirect elections of those vote cast by the members of that particular assembly. Okay, so let's say if there is a, you can say, when we talk about village, and then there will be, you can say, some group of village, that is block. Okay, and then the at the Jilla Parishad. Okay, so like that, when we are talking about, let's say on the block level, you have to make some kind of elections. Okay, so all the members here, they will be sending their representatives over here, and then these representatives will be deciding the chairperson. Okay, so that is the indirect election. The elections which are happening over here for the members, that is direct election. Again, on the level of block, for the membership, elections will be happening directly, and the chairperson will be decided by the members indirectly. Okay, moving further, reservation of the seats. So there is you can say provision for the reservation of SC/ST. Then 1/3 of the seats will be there for the women. There are certain area where you can say it is 50% as well. Okay, moving further, provision for the reservation for the backward classes at the state discretion. Okay, so that is being given to the state. Now moving further, you will be seeing that term is 5 year. 5-year term for the panchayats, mandates timely election after dissolution. Okay, then disqualification, grounds for disqualification aligns with the state election laws. Age requirement minimum is 21 years. Okay, again here disqualification will be decided by the state's law. Then state election commission will be responsible for going for the elections and the preparing the electoral rolls. Okay, power and functions, state can empower panchayats for economic development and the social justice. With respect to that also, panchayat has been given certain power to levy tax as well, but again, because of the certain, you can say, state do not want to dwell their power, or you can say give their power to the panchayats, and that is why panchayats are facing issues with respect to finances. They are not very much self-dependent. Okay, they are not very much self-dependent. They have to be they have to rely on the funds which are coming from the states. Okay, because much power has not been given to the panchayats over here. Okay, now moving further and starting with the first article, that is talking about one nation one election. Since we have seen the panchayat elections, so now I will be making you understand that how the election will be happening in this particular regime with respect to the state assemblies, with respect to the Lok Sabha, and then with respect to the panchayats as well. Okay, now let's see. Cabinet accept the Covind panel's recommendations. One nation, one election set in motion will be in 2 phases. Nationwide consultation will be held. Committee to be formed for the implementation of the simultaneous poll, said the government. Okay, this same thing has been explained over here, so we will not go into much of that. Just know that what is happening over here. So the panel commissions, or you can say Ramnath Kovind panel, which was their high level committee, which was there for the deciding how these will be implemented. So they have given a report, and under that report they have made some recommendations, and those recommendations has been accepted by the, you can say, central cabinets and the central government. Okay, now what is happening is they are saying that there is a consensus among the cabinet. Now they will be going for the nationwide consensus, or they will be talking to the other stakeholders. Okay, then they will be looking at the implementation. For that, another committee will be formed. Okay, so that is what has been given over here. Now see, the Union Cabinet accepted the recommendation of the high level committee headed by the former President Ramnath Kovind, which included a proposal for simultaneous elections to Lok Sabha and state assemblies. Okay, second is, first phase will be the center and the state elections. Second phase, there will be municipal and the panchayat election within 100 days. Okay, so here what they are doing is that in the first phase there will be the election of the Lok Sabha, and then there will be elections of the state assembly. They will be together. Okay, in the first phase, the center and the states election will be there. Okay, and now within 100 days of that particular election, you have to go for the local elections as well, that is municipal elections and the panchayat election. As I told you, that is the prerogative of the state election commission, that is prerogative of the you can say national election commission. Okay, so that is there. Now How will you do it? Because obviously right now the timeline of the various state assemblies are not in sync with the Lok Sabha elections. So how will you do that? For that they have given certain recommendations as well. Okay, so let's see. For that you have to go for changing the constitution. You have to tweak the terms, etc. You have to make sure there are provisions for the early dissolution of the assemblies, or you can say extending the terms of few assemblies. Such things you have to do, and for that you have to go for the constitution amendment. Okay, now most of it you will be realizing that you will require 2/3 of the majority over there. So we will be seeing those provisions as well. Here you can see constitutional amendments, they are saying that would be required. Recommended amendment to article 83, that is the duration of the parliament. Article 172, that is the duration of the state assembly, because you have to sync them, and since their durations are out of sync, so first thing you have to do is that you have to tweak the durations. Okay, so for that you have to amend article 83 and 172 of the constitution. When we talk about 83, that is talking about the parliament's term, and when we talk about 173, that is talking about the state assemblies and their terms. Okay, it also proposed a common electoral roll, need for the coordination between the election commission and the state election commissions. So basically what they are saying, that there should be a common electoral roll, one electoral roll should be there with respect to the states, because for the state election commission, when we talk about the panchayat and the municipality election, same electoral roll will be working. Okay, now challenges. The panel recommended nearly 18 constitutional amendment, most do not require ratification by the state assemblies. Now that is a challenge, or that is a concern, because since we are tweaking with the elections, that is a federal feature. Okay, now if you are tweaking with the federal feature, that means that you have to take care of the state's consensus as well, and for that there is this provision that you have to go for the ratification by the state assemblies. Now the way these amendments has been suggested, it suggests that you do not require the ratification by the state assemblies. Okay, now however, any constitutional amendment bill requires 2/3 of the majority in the each house of the parliament. Now when we talk about the Rajya Sabha is, you can say, the most of the representatives are from the states only. So obviously in the Rajya Sabha, if this bill is going, so there is this provision of the 2/3 of the majority which is present and voting. So basically you have to go through that as well. Moving further, now what is one nation one election? We have discussed all these things earlier as well. So if you want me to repeat it, I can repeat it, otherwise you can go through it. Now here you can say, in case of hung assembly, no confidence motion, it has the recommended holding assembly elections for the remainder of the term of the Lok Sabha, so that they would be remaining synchronized. Now what happens, that you have made them sync. Okay, and now what happens is that there is some kind of hung parliament, or let's say hung assembly is there, and because of which, or the assembly has been dissolved because of this situation, there are chances that this timeline might again go out of sync. So what will you do then? So the panel has recommended that for the remaining period, let's say that we have the period of 5 years in general. Okay, third year there was this assembly which has been dissolved. Okay, so the election will happen for the remaining 2 years. Okay, so that next time when the elections come, the central election comes, that you can say assembly will be working for the 2 years only, and they will also go for the elections. Okay, so that has been recommended by the panel. Now let's go through it. The concept of one nation one election envisions a system which all state and Lok Sabha election must be held simultaneously. So here we are talking about the state assemblies elections and the Lok Sabha elections. Okay, then this will entail restructuring the Indian election cycle, so that the election to the state and center are basically coinciding. Okay, this would imply that voters will vote for the members of Lok Sabha and state assemblies on the same day, at the same time, or in a phased manner, as the case may be. Okay, now how it will happen, that is for the, you can say, new committee which will be there, which they will decide. But right now we are saying that most probably we will be voting for the on the same day for the state assembly as well as the Lok Sabha. Now objective is to synchronize the elections of the state assemblies and the Lok Sabha. Now if we look at the background, okay, first elections which happened in 1951 for the independent India. Okay, so they happened at the first time, so obviously they were in the sync. Okay, all the elections were there at the same time. Second election happened in 1957. They were also same, because at that point of time there was only one party which was having you can say sway over the country. Okay, so 1957 also similar way, same you can say synchronized elections were there. Then 1962 and 1967, these are the 4 times where elections were synchronized. Okay, after that when we are talking about 1967, okay, there are certain you can say incidents which has happened, and because of which some assemblies actually got dissolved before their, you can say, term got over, that is in 1968, 1969. You know that there was this various you can say incidences which has happened at that point of time. Other than that also, that was the time when the regional parties are also increasing. Okay, so because by that time Nehruji has gone. Okay, so that is why there are various aspirations which were there, and now there was, you can say, various regional parties which are coming with their own aspiration, their own interest. Okay, so there are various incidences or various changes which are going in the Indian political system at that point of time. The concept was again introduced by the Election Commission in 1983. Okay, so they have proposed that particular concept, and after that BJP is trying to go for this particular thing. Advantages, obviously, if the elections are happening again and again, so you have to go for the, you can say, financial concerns are there, so a lot of finances are spending on over there. Other than that, logistical things are also there. When we talk about the advantages, what will happen is that once the election happen, or let's say right now the current cycle, if we talk about, let's say 2024, we had the general election. Now we have Jammu and Kashmir's election. After that we will have Maharashtra election. Okay, we have Jharkhand elections. So like that, most of the time you will be seeing that the politicians are involved with the elections only. Now that is why they are not focusing on the governance. So that is one, you can say, advantage, that since elections are happening for the all the country for the one time, then you have to put all the energy at that point of time, and after that you have to work for the 5 years. Okay, so that is, you can say, one thing. Impact of the model code of conduct. Every time if you go for the model code of conduct, that will be difficult. So now this will be the time where for once there will be a model code of conduct, and after that you can work freely. Okay, because when model code of conduct is basically in implementation, there are various things you cannot do. You cannot go for announcement of the new schemes, you cannot go for the announcement of the any big policy decisions, etc. Okay, so that is there. Moving further, addressing the political corruptions. So when we talk about corruption or the horse trading which is happening during the elections, if elections are happening like 6 or 7 times, you can say in the 5 year, so that is a problematic thing, because the corruption will go, you can say, you cannot actually end the corruption. Okay, the thing is, this is somewhere when we are talking about the human nature, we are avaricious, we are greedy. Okay, so that element will always there. We will try to reduce it, and this is the way to reduce it. You can go for the election only one time, then there will be only one such opportunity where you can go for the horse trading. Okay, we have to try to reduce it, but again we have to face the practicality as well. Okay, so that is also there. Cost saving will be there, because you are going for the election once a 5 year. Okay, citizens convenience, you have to go for the vote for for only for one time in 5 years. Then optimizing the law enforcement resources, because when we are going for the elections, you have to go for the, you can say, various law and order situations control, so you have to deploy various forces. So that is also there. How horse trading we have also already discussed, and financial stability of the state governments, which has also has been discussed. Now talking about the challenges, constitutional concerns. When you are going for the implementation of that, you have to go for the constitutional amendments. That is one challenge. Second is mid tenure collapse, which we have seen that what happens if there are assemblies which are been collapsing or dissolved during the mid tenure. Okay, so for that they have given a recommendation that they will be going for the elections for the remaining period of time. Okay, logistical challenges are there with respect to the implementations, that is their cost implication and the economic consideration. When you are seeing that for the whole nation and the states and the municipalities and the panchayats, you are going for the election in a one go, how will you manage it? Do you have such logistics? Do you have such EVMs available for you? All these concerns are there with respect to the logisticals and the cost implications. Okay, now infrastructure related challenges, these are the same things. Okay, now we can move further to the next article, which is talking about the Indus Water Treaty. Okay, now you know that we had a treaty between India and Pakistan. That treaty was brokered by the World Bank, and that treaty was signed way back in September 1960. So you can say that that is kind of an anniversary today. Okay, so on that particular time period, we have divided the river, or you can say we have seen that how the water resource with respect to the Indus water and their tributary, that will be divided between India and Pakistan. Okay, so at that point of time, we have actually divided the 3 rivers for the Pakistan, 3 rivers for India. All these things has happened at that point of time, but after that there are various things which has changed. 1960s we are talking about, and now we are living in 2024. Now there are various things which has been changing in the last 80 to 84 years. Okay, So considering that, there is a review which is needed. And then second thing is, when we talk about India and Pakistan, the relations are not very cordial now. Okay, earlier we used to think that matlab, we used to think that Pakistan is you can say part which has been separated by India only. Okay, so basically that is, you know, somehow our brother only. Okay, so that is why we have given various concessions to Pakistan at that point of time. One of such concession was this. Okay, now Pakistan is having these terror activities, etc., because of which India has decided that all those things like terror and diplomacy will not go hand in hand, and that is why India said that now we need to review this particular system as well. Other than that, also we have our own needs with respect to the renewable energy also. Okay, now 64 years 64 years after the two countries signed the Indus Water Treaty in Karachi on September 19th, 1960, India has served formal notice to Pakistan to seek review and modification to the treaty, signaling the you can say serious political intent of Delhi to end it. Okay, so basically last time also there are 3-4 times when India has sent these notices, Pakistan did not respond to that, and that is why we have gone for the harsh you can say words over here, that we are trying to review and modify. Last time when we have said it, then we have said that we want to modify the treaty. Right now we are saying that we will be reviewing and then modifying. That means that we will be going into the you can say why this treaty is necessary part as well. Okay, now here you can see India postponed meeting of the permanent Indus Commission, saying that we will first go for a review and then only this meeting can happen. Okay, reason is till the time the government of India and Pakistan do not resume talks on the Indus Water Treaty, the PIC also did not meet. Okay, then here you will be seeing since January 2023, India has written Pakistan 4 times to start the talks on the amendment of the treaty, but no you can say response has been there from the Pakistan, and that is why India has taken this action. Now looking at the Indus Water Treaty, okay, you know that when we talk about the Indus river, there are various tributaries. First you can say this Indus itself is an important river, then we have Jhelum, we have Chenab, we have Ravi, we have Beas, we have Satluj. Okay, so these are the 6 you can say rivers which are there. Now what happened in this particular treaty is that we have divided the 3 rivers for Pakistan and 3 rivers for India. Okay, so western rivers, that is Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, these western rivers were given to Pakistan, and on these India has very limited you can say use. Okay, so India can only go for the run of the river you can say projects, like you do not have to store the water, you will let the water flow and then you can go for any kind of project over there. Okay, so here India's right over these 3 rivers are limited, can set up certain irrigation, run of the river power plants, very limited storage, domestic and non-consumptive use of all these conditions are there. When we are talking about the storage use, only 20% we can store. Okay, only 20%. Now talking about the eastern rivers, that is Ravi, Beas and Satluj, on this India can do whatever they want, but again 80% of the water they can use for themselves. India's rights over this river, all exclusive right lies with India. Okay, now sorry, I mean 80% of water they can be given for the Pakistan, and in these 3 rivers we have 100% rights. Okay, I hope that is clear. So this is about the Indus Water Treaty. Now moving further, here you will be seeing background of the treaty. The Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960s to manage the waters of the 6 tributaries of the river between India and Pakistan. We have discussed that 3 rivers has been given to India and 3 rivers has been given to Pakistan. Over here India constructed run of the river hydroelectric projects on these 3. Okay, then moving further you will be seeing that run of the river hydropower on these 3 rivers. Okay, now dispute settlement if we talk about, so there is a 3-tier hierarchical body which is there, permanent Indus Commission, as we are talking about. We have seen that this meeting of this PIC has been put on hold. Okay, and then neutral expert if we talk about, that is abstention court, which is you know that is international. Then when we are talking about the treaty, who brokered the treaty, that is World Bank. Okay, moving further, why India wants the changes? So as I told you, there are many things which has been changed in the last few years. So because of it, since 1960, that has been nearly 64 years, and in the 64 years there are various things which has been changed, and demographic structure of India, that is also changing. Other than that, our requirements are changing, our water requirements are there, our renewable energy related requirements are there. Okay, environmental concerns and the need for the clean energy to meet the emission targets. Then the impact of the continued cross border movements. Okay, now these things, when we are talking about the cross border movements or the terrorism etc., which has been spread by Pakistan, so that is also one factor which is there. Okay, need to introduce new provision because of these changes. Since these are the changes which has happened in last 64 years, now that is why we need new, you can say, provisions for the Indus Water Treaty. Now moving further for the next article. Where can you get the PDF of the content you are teaching? So Saurabh Singh, you can get the content of this PDF from the Telegram channel, which the link is given in the description. You can go and download from that particular channel. Okay, so PDF will be uploaded after like 1 or 2 hours of this lecture. Okay, moving further, we will be looking at the construction of the space station, also approved space program boost government nod for the Venus mission and Chandrayaan 4. Right now there are 4 missions which has been actually given a nod. Okay, so here you can see they have approved 4 big projects. One is Chandrayaan 4. Now we have sent the Chandrayaan 3. We have gone for the soft landing on the South Pole. That is the, you can say, India became the first one in the world to do that. Okay, now that is Chandrayaan 4. If we talk about, now our plan is to bring back the samples from there. Okay, China has recently done it, so now we are also trying to do that. So Chandrayaan 4 will be a project wherein we will be going for the bringing the samples back from the moon. Okay, now second is the Venus. When we talk about the Shukrayaan, temporarily they have given this name Shukrayaan, that is the mission for the Venus. Okay, this will be the first time we are going for the Venus, and this will be the second time we are going for any other planet. Like when we are talking about the Mars, we have gone for Mars once, and now we are going for the Venus. Okay, so that is another second project which is there. Now why on the Venus? We are trying to understand the environment and the dust which is over there, all these things which are there, we are trying to understand that. Okay, now moving further, construction of the Bharatiya Antariksh Station. Okay, Indian Space Station. So that is the third project, and fourth is the, you can say, that is kind of a clearance which has been given for the, you can say, new or the next generation launch vehicle, that is NGLV. Right now you know that we have PSLV, GSLV. GSLV has various you can say components. When we talk about the GSLV Mark 3, this is the most powerful satellite launch vehicle we have till now. Okay, so now we are going for the next generation launch vehicle, that is NGLV. Okay, so these are the 4 projects to which the you can say nod has been given. Now when we are talking about the next generation launch vehicle, they are trying to increase the capacity. Right now what is the maximum capacity? We have 10 tons for the you can say low earth orbit. Okay, now we are trying to increase it to 30 tons. Okay, so that is one thing. When we talk about the Indian Space Center or Space Station, or you can say Bharatiya Antariksh Station, so here we are talking about the Gaganyaan mission as well, because the Gaganyaan is a mission which is trying to send the astronauts, Indian astronauts, to the space. Now they have expanded its you can say objective, and now this particular thing will also be introduced under the components of the Gaganyaan only. Okay, so now there is this vision, that is vision 2047. Okay, so under this particular vision, what is there, that we are trying to go for the, you can say, space station by 2035. Okay, now this space station, Indian Space Station, by 2035, and we are going for the landing on moon, Indian astronauts landing on moon by 2040. Okay, so all these things are basically there with respect to, here you can say vision 2047, fully functional space station by 2035, and landing human beings on the moon by 2040. Okay, so these are certain things which has been discussed with respect to the space. News is the central government approves the several projects related to India's space sector. We have discussed the Chandrayaan 4 objective is to bring the ability to you can say collect the lunar samples and return them safely. Okay, second, if we talk about, here you can see Venus orbiter mission, which is temporarily the name has been given, that is Shukrayaan. We have sent Mars orbiter mission earlier. Okay, now we are thinking of going to Venus by 2028. Okay, all these missions are having a deadline, so please remember that. Expansion of Gaganyaan program. Now this program also include the development of the Indian Space Center or Indian Space Station, Bharatiya Antariksh Station. Okay, then here you can say establish a self-sustaining space station by 2035 and land Indians astronauts on the moon by 2040. Then next generation launch vehicle, which we have already discussed, to increase the capacity. Okay. Now moving further, here you can see these are the, you can say, Chandrayaan, which we have already sent. Since we were talking about the Chandrayaan 4, I have taken the liberty to put that when the Chandrayaan missions were there for your revision, so you can go through this particular, you can say, slide over here, or you can actually take a screenshot. Okay. Now here you can see the lander Vikram, which was there in the Chandrayaan 2, but that could not land safely, and that is why orbiter was already there. So we have sent the lander again, the lander and rover again. The name of the lander in the Chandrayaan 3 was also Vikram, same name. Okay. Now this is about the Chandrayaan. You can take a screenshot. Now we can move further to the next article, that is talking about the mini moon. Okay, Earth to temporarily get a mini moon. Now what is mini moon? You know that we have Earth, and around which we have moon, which is actually orbiting the Earth. Okay. Now because of certain incidences which are happening in the space, there are certain asteroids which are entering towards the Earth. Okay. So let's say this is a small asteroid which is entering towards the Earth, and sometimes because of the various reasons they actually get destroyed, or there are various reasons that they could not come inside the Earth atmosphere. Okay. And even if they come, then because of the friction etc., they actually you can say destroy. But the thing is, this time there was this asteroid which is actually getting inside here, and that will be starting to, you can say, orbit the Earth for a while, but it will not make a full circle. What will happen is that it will be going like this, and from here it will escape the orbit. Okay. So that is, you can say that, like I can give you a better picture. So it will be entering like this, and move like this, and move move out. Okay. So this particular horseshoe shape will be there. Okay. So there are various scientists which are saying that is not basically mini moon, because it is not completing a full circle. Okay. But again we can consider that as a mini moon, because it is orbiting the Earth for a particular period of time because of the Earth's, you can say, gravitational pull. Okay. Now such asteroids which are entering into Earth's sphere of the gravity, and then they are orbiting the Earth, such things are called as mini moon. Okay. Here let's see. Now the name of this particular asteroid is 2024 PT5. Okay. Remember this, 2024 PT5. Okay. This will be there staying for the 2 months before it is flying again into the space. Okay. So it will be there, in the Earth's gravity and orbiting the Earth for 2 months, and that will happen somewhere around late September. Okay. What is a mini moon? Mini moon are the asteroid that fails to escape the Earth's gravity and end up orbiting the planet for some time, usually very small and hard to detect. Only 4 mini moon has been detected till now for the Earth. Okay. None of them are still orbiting. Okay. All of them has actually escaped the, you can say, orbit now. Okay. Some may actually have been the space debris. There are certain time wherein the space debris we have seen them as the, you can say, mini satellite, but in reality they were the space you can say debris. These are the Gaia, or you can say Gaia spacecraft which was there. And second, when we are talking about the Chang'e 2, that is the Chinese satellite, the, you can say, the launch vehicle which was there. Okay. The rocket which was there, that started to orbit the Earth for some time. Okay. So that is also there. Okay. Lunar Prospector mission, the satellite, or you can say rocket launch vehicle of this particular mission also, that has orbited Earth for a certain while, and we have assumed that it was a mini moon, but it was not. Okay. Now what do we know about the 2024 PT5? Now it is an asteroid. Okay. And now this is not visible with the naked eye, and even with the basic telescope you cannot see it. For that you require high resolution telescopes. Okay. Which is there. 2024 PT5 has come to visit from the Arjun asteroid belt, which is a you can say a secondary asteroid belt made of space rocks and follow orbits very similar to the Earth. Okay. Now there is this belt, that is Arjuna asteroid belt. From that particular belt, this you can say asteroid has came. Okay. Now there are certain people who are saying that this is not an asteroid mini moon, because it is basically not orbiting the Earth fully. Okay. Other than that, there are certain people who are saying that that is a part of moon. Okay. There was some kind of impact which has happened on the moon, and because of which that has ejected from the moon, and this is part of you can say Earth satellite only. Okay. So these are certain theories which are there. You don't have to worry about all these things, because these are speculations. Only thing you need to know is that what is mini moon. Okay. And what is 2024 PT 5. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now we can move to the next part, that is talking about, we have discussed this yesterday, so I guess this slide was misplaced over here. Now Hezbollah reels, Israel says new phase of war. Okay, so you know that recently there was this incident which has happened with respect to the pager. Similar incident has happened again. Okay, now on, you know, when people or the media people has talked to the Israel about that, Israel did not say that it is our doing, but they have said that this is the new kind of war which is now started. Okay, so here you can say the walkie-talkies and the solar equipment exploded in the Beirut and multiple parts of the Lebanon on Wednesday in an apparent second wave of attack targeting electronic device a day after the hundreds of pager used by the Hezbollah blew up. Okay, so this was the second attack which has happened. Okay, we are at the start of new phase in the war. It requires courage, determination and the perseverance. No mention of the explosive of the electronic devices, but praise the work of the Israeli army and the security agencies. Okay, so these things here, when we are talking about this particular statement that has been made by the Israeli defense minister. Okay, so that is something fishy over here. Anyways, now talking about this particular thing here, mass pager attack turns spotlight on the unit 8200. Now when we are talking about the unit 8200, you just have to know about this unit, you don't have to worry much about. When we talk about Mossad, that is a intelligence agency of Israel. Okay, now when we are talking about unit 8200, that is basically a unit, or you can say a secret unit of Israel which is working with respect to the cyber technologies. Okay, okay, so for that this unit is there, that is also a secretive unit. Okay, and now there are speculations that this unit might be behind the attacks which are happening. Okay, so the spy agency of the Israel along with this particular unit, they might be behind these attacks which are happening. Okay, anyways, so this was one development which we have seen. Now moving further, Trump says Modi to meet him during the US visit, call India a big tariff abuser. Okay, now you know that right now elections are there, so he has to make certain, you can say, comments like that, because when we talk about the president, you can say former President Trump, he has this you can say campaign like America First campaign. Okay, so they are looking inward, so that is why he has made certain comment, and he has said that since Modi ji will be visiting on September 21st to 23rd for the Quad and the UNGA you can say meeting which is happening, so basically he has said that he will be visiting the Modi ji as well. Okay, so let's see what happens. India abstained from the UNGA votes on Israel. Now there was again this voting with respect to the, you can say, they have said that without any kind of delay they have to actually get out of the occupied areas or Palestinian territory. Okay, so that was there within 12 months they have to go. This was the resolution which was in front of UNGA, but again India has abstained from voting. Okay, India did not vote with respect to this. Okay, there are certain countries who has voted in favor, or you can say there are nearly 124 nation out of 193, they have actually gone for yes in favor of the resolution. There are nearly 43 countries which has abstained from voting. Okay, so they did not vote, and there are, you can say, 14 which has voted against this particular resolution. Okay, so that is something. Now moving further to the next, that is for your own read, why India wants to review and modify the Indus Water Treaty, which we have already discussed. But if you want to go even more details or know more details, okay, so you can go through this. There are again you can say some data which are given with respect to the kind of power we are producing, etc. So that I don't think will be necessary for the examination, but if you want to get a bigger picture, you can go through this particular article. Okay, moving further. Next is simultaneous poll roadmap, which we have also discussed. Okay, again, but if you are eager to know about the current situation, current political situation, or knowing that how the numbers stack up in the parliament, so in that case you can read this article. Okay, now in the end we have this practice question, that is what is the name of the lander used in the Chandrayaan 3, Vikram, Pragyan, Chandra or Aryabhat? So you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave, and if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.